Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. This is Rashad Mitchell coming to you live from my YouTube channel as I continue on my part series. The week that was college football history and review, the 1960 college football season. I've been trying. I'm gonna try to do. I will do actually conclude this whole season. It's my week 11. Then I'm gonna do week 12. Then I'm gonna go over um, the stats, the standings. Then go over the bowl games and all the good stuff and all the stats for the leaders for the year, All American team, who won the Heisman and other awards, and conclude this season of 1960. So we're going to start with November 24th to November 26th, the week that was. Games were played during those 3 days from November 24th to November 26th, 1960. So we're going to start with Navy, number 17 in the country at the time, beat Army 17-12 in Philadelphia. Orange Bowl bound Navy owned first half as overeager and Army missed several tackles and lost a pair of fumbles late in the first quarter, having disentangled Mitty from deep hole with 58-yard dash early in the game. Halfback Joe Bellino had 85 yards and 20 carries and a touchdown, gave Navy 6-0 lead. 4-yard touchdown sweep late in the first quarter. End kicker Greg Mather followed with 27-yard field goal, and quarterback Hal Spooner and Jim Looper collaborated on a 12-yard touchdown pass late in the second quarter. So Mitty's own tidy 17-0 lead at halftime. Cadets reversed their fortunes with long drives of 78 yards after the second half kickoff, 83-yard early in fourth quarter to a pair of touchdown runs by tough fullback Al Rushed's 64 yards and 16 carries. Indeed, Army saw outclassed in first half, constructed 200 yards to minus 2 yard offense of advantage in second half. Handoff fumble between Navy's advanced, handoff fumble between Navy Spooner and Molino gave Army chance at midshipman 17-yard line with 5:30 to go. Cadets advanced to 6-yard line, but quarterback Dick Eckert's errant pitch out cost 14 yards. After two hurried passes, Black Knights lost it on downs at 15-yard line with 2 minutes to go. Having conserved its timeouts, Army had one last chance, but defensive back Bellino, soon to be named Heisman Trophy winner, made a clutch goal line interception of quarterback Tom Blander. So in desperation, Blander threw into double coverage for halfback George Kirschenbauer, but Bellino cut in front of receiver, and his return sent him weaving out of danger to Navy 45-yard line into arms of his happy mom moments later. Next, in the battle of two top 20 teams, number 17 Alabama beat number 8 Auburn 3-0 in Birmingham. Proud Auburn lost its first game since opener against Tennessee, and coach Chuck Jordan begrudgingly tipped his hat to Alabama, saying Alabama's line was great, but quickly added that his line hit just as hard and that his Tigers got no breaks. So Crimson Tide's line tackled so well that Tigers, playing without injured fullback Ed Dias, could manage only 63-yard rushing. Part of Bama's defense might came from its change in alignment to the 4-4 instead of normal 6-2. And Plainsmen were kept beyond Tide's 35-yard line all game. Auburn stars were defensive tackle Ken Rice, who had hand in 15 tackles, and quarterback punter Joe Dolan, who averaged 41.2 yards on non-soaring punts. Alabama terrorized Tigers' goal line several times, with its only success coming on a 15-play drive to end kicker Tommy Brooker's 22-yard field goal with 8:31 left in the second quarter. Brooker's 33-pointer was set up by quarterback Pat Trammell's 24 yards on runs and his 13-yard pass to end Bill Battle. Crimson Tide made 3 critical interceptions. Next, you had Mississippi, number 3 team in the country, beat Mississippi State 35-9. Finest date record Finds to date record for Mississippi spelled Sugar Bowl bid for the Rebels. Brilliant first half passing by Ole Miss quarterback Jake Gibbs included touchdown passes to end Johnny Brewer, halfback Bobby Crispito. Second quarter for 14-0 halftime advantage after Maroons quarterback Billy Hill narrowed it to 14-7 with third quarter touchdown pass to end David Kelly. Rebels secondary picked off two passes to set up touchdowns that hastened an Egg Bowl route. Gibbs also propelled Ole Miss victory party with 8-yard touchdown run. Ole Miss, nation's only undefeated squad, ranked in top 10, held out hope for national title. But this drubbing of Mississippi State sparked marginal excitement in voters from outside Southeast, where the Rebels moved up from number 3 to number 2, and one-loss Minnesota walked away with AP's top spot in the final balloting. Georgia beat Georgia Tech 7-6. Number 19, Florida shut out Miami 18-0. Florida used effective ground game, which was 157 yards on the ground, to beat Miami and happily accepted Gator Bowl bid. Scoring in each of first three quarters, Gators tallied on runs by quarterbacks Bobby Dodd Jr. and Larry Liberatore and fullback Don Goodman. Hurricanes spent a quiet night between 20-yard lines, gaining 112 yards on ground and 54 yards in the air. Miami tried to spring surprise offensive formation, moving effective sophomore quarterback Eddie Johns to halfback to fill in for injured Jim Vollenreader and replacing Johns with sub-quarterback Bobby Weaver. Idea failed miserably and likely contributed to Kane's fair 7-16 passing figures, but ordinarily fought in-state series was now knotted at 11 wins at the time each other. Florida's claimed most recent 4 games. Air Force defeated Colorado by a score of 16-6. The Air Force Academy 2-touchdown underdog limited Colorado to 80 yards rushing and finally broke open a scoreless deadlock with halfback Mike Quinlan's brilliant 92-yard punt touchdown return in third quarter. Quinlan added 1-yard touchdown plunge after his 56-yard dash and fourth quarter for 13-0 lead until Falcons center kicker Michael Rawlins tacked on 29-yard field goal. Buffalo's quarterback Bill Wheatner suffered through week 9 for 24 passing performance, but made each connection count for 195 yards in air or 21.7 yards average per completion. Critical goal line stand by Air Force early in the fourth quarter prevented 7-7 tie. A smaller airman line stopped 4 smashes from inside its 5-yard line, and Colorado could manage only late touchdown on the fullback Chuck Weiss 1-yard run at the Wheatner 39-yard pitch to end Gary Henson. Battle 2 top 20 teams. Number 19 Baylor beat number 12 Rice by a score of 12-7. Disappointed Rice had to accept its second place late fate, knowing win would have given its share of the Southwest Conference title, with Arkansas still Sugar Bowl committee surprisingly tapped Alice for New Year's Day spot against Mississippi. The Bears scored in second quarter for 6-0 lead when tackle Buck McLeod fortunately fell on forward fumble into the end zone by Baylor fullback Jim Evans on short plunge, twice stopping Baylor inside their own 10-yard line. Desperate Owls finally crafted 80-yard march late in the fourth quarter, so quarterback Billy Cox wedged over for a touchdown, and halfback Max Webb provided short-lived 7-6 lead with conversion kick. Then Bears turned to sub-quarterback Bobby Ply, who launched aerial drive that carried 75 yards for victory. Ply hit halfback Ronnie Goodwin with 9-yard touchdown pass that decided it in the closing moments. And finally, Notre Dame beat Southern California in the shutout 17-0. As record 8-game Notre Dame losing streak came to an end in the LA Coliseum downpour. Southern California was held to 53 yards rushing, and its 2 for 8, 21-yard passing helped prompt sarcastic rookie coach John McKay to cry. We specialize in the drop pass. Indeed, Trojan halfback Jim Naples bobbled last play touchdown pass that would have averted that shutout. Fighting Irish quarterback Darryl LaMonica's 16-yard rollout set up fullback kicker Joe Perkowski's 31-yard field goal on opening 71-yard drive. LaMonica added first quarter touchdown run, and halfback Bob Scorpedo went in from 9-yard line in the second quarter. The final AP poll as of November 28th: number 1, Minnesota; number 2, Mississippi; number 3, Iowa; number 4, Navy; number 5, Missouri; number 6, Washington; number 7, Arkansas; number 8, Ohio State; number 9, Alabama; number 10, Duke; number 11, Kansas; number 12, Baylor; number 13, Auburn; number 14, Yale; number 15, Michigan State; number 16, Penn State; number 17, New Mexico State; number 18, Florida; and the 19th spot was a tie between Syracuse and Purdue. Now let's move into the week that was for the December 3rd, 1960. On a Friday, December 2nd, 1960, Miami Hurricanes beat the Air Force 23-14 as spirited Miami sought to erase bad memories of the recent losses to Syracuse and Florida, but Air Force flew 78 yards to open the game. Falcons quarterback Rich Mayo pitched a 26-yard pass on which Dick Brown made great catch at 1-yard line. And halfback Mike Quinlan smashed over on the next play. But fullback kicker Mike Rawlins missed the kick. So in punt setup, punter Mayo saw snap sail over his head, and he retreated to his end zone to concede safety. At the free kick, Hurricanes scored early in the second quarter on a 9-yard touchdown pass on a fake field goal from holder George McIntyre to end Bill Miller. Air Force regained 14-9 lead on Mayo's 18-yard touchdown pass to Brown in third quarter. But smaller Fly Boys began to swear down as Miami quarterback Eddie Johns, who had 149 yards rushing on 13 carries, 8 big yards as Falcons linebackers consistently were blocked off their feet by the Canes' big line that was led by guard Bill Diamond and tackle Charles Lennon. Johns scored go-ahead touchdown on 4-yard run after his 66-yard dash went to 6-yard line. Next, South Carolina shut out Virginia 26-0. New quarterback defensive back Buddy Bennett made 2 interceptions of Virginia quarterback Gary Cuozzo, going 51 yards to set up touchdown for South Carolina. Bennett scored twice, including Lewis's 59-yard run. Late in game, several Green Pop senior linemen were allowed to enjoy special glory by playing skilled positions. For example, all ACC guard Jake Bodkin caught pass from end spot. Cavaliers perceived this fun as Carolina's way of rubbing it in. It will remain the sore spot for years to come, because loss was Virginia's 28th in a row, tying the NCAA record at that time that was held by Kansas State from 1945 to 1948. And finally, UCLA upset Duke, the number 10 team in the country. Number 10 team in the country. Duke, the number 10 team in the country, was upset by unranked UCLA 27-6. Accounting directly for 2 scores, tailback Billy Kilmer rushed for 147 yards on 27 carries and a touchdown. He passed for 3 for 8, 53-yard touchdown and a touchdown to wrap up national total offensive title with 1,889 yards. Kilmer opened scoring by flipping 9-yard touchdown to end Don Vina. Finished matters at 27-0 early in the fourth quarter with 4-yard touchdown run as Bruins scored touchdown in every quarter. His understudy, tailback Bobby Smith, who had 61 yards on 9 carries, turned workhorse, running on 9 straight plays from the UCLA 38-yard line to set up fullback Almost Thompson for 1-yard crack and Bruins touchdown in third quarter. Champions of the ACC and Cotton Bowl bound Duke surprisingly was held to only 12 first downs. Its run defense arrived in Los Angeles having permitted average of 125 yards per game, but it left having relinquished 322 yards overland, including Kilmer's individual gains of 16, 12, 16, 13, 15, and 20 yards. But Duke's longest run was turned in by quarterback Don Altman for 12 yards, and Big Blue failed to score until moving 61 yards, mostly on the 2 catches by Ed Chestnut, the end Ed Chestnut from Altman. In the fourth quarter, tied back Dean Wright's 2-yard touchdown run. Blue Devils had threatened once in the first half, but lost their surge at 4-yard line. So Duke coach Bill Murray, who earlier in the season faced Navy's Heisman-winning Joe Bellino, said afterward, "I still take Kilmer over any ball player I've seen this season." So that includes the look at Week 12, December 3rd, 1960, when the game was played on December 2nd, 1960. Week number 11, week number 12, the games that were played on from November 24th to November 26th, 1960. That was week 11. And the week that was for week 12, December 3rd, 1960. When the game was played on December 2nd on a Friday, 1960. So that concludes the whole regular season of what was played as far as the games are concerned. So look at the conference standings. We got Yale. They finished first with 7-0 record for the Ivy League. Atlantic Coast, Duke was number one. They were first with 5-1 record. The Southern Conference had Virginia Military at 4-1. Southeast Conference was in favor of Mississippi, 5-0-1. The Big Ten had Minnesota at the top at 5-1. They were tied for the conference wins, 5-1 with Iowa. The Big Eight, Kansas, unfortunately, was ineligible, even though they were at the top of the Big Eight conference at 6-0-1. Missouri Valley, Wichita was 3-0. Mid-American, Ohio was 6-0. Southwest Conference, South Arkansas 6-1. The Border Conference, New Mexico State 4-0. Skyline 8 was a tie between Utah State and Wyoming, but Utah State got the nod at 6-1. And AAW, Washington 4-0, finished at the top of the conference standings with a 4-0 record for the AAWU. So let's look at the 1960 bowl games. Starting with the Liberty Bowl on December 17th. Penn State, number 16 team in the country, beat Oregon 41-12. Just 2 weeks earlier, same stadium, Army-Navy game was played in balmy 55 degrees. But this time, Philadelphia's vast, mostly empty municipal stadium featured 3-foot sideline snowbanks and icy temperatures. Local favorite Penn State mounted second and fourth quarter surges, each counting 3 touchdowns, which iced verdict. Oregon quarterback Dave Gross had driven Ducks 88 yards and put them ahead 6-0 with a short touchdown run in fourth quarter. Quarterback defensive back Dick Hope, alternating Lions signal caller, was leading rusher on 61 yards and 9 carries with 2 touchdown runs. Passed 3 for 5 for 67 yards, touchdown, and grabbed 2 interceptions to launch the deciding 20-point fourth quarter avalanche. In all, Hoke had hand in 5 of Penn State's 6 touchdowns. Halfback Dave Grayson ran for 93 yards on 10 carries and briefly encouraged Ducks by scoring in third quarter to bring his team within 21-12. But Nittany Lions, who ran snappy offense with little delay between many of its 87 plays, began to wear down thinner troops of Oregon. Determined Lions drove 95 yards to halfback Ed Kay's 1-yard touchdown early in the fourth quarter. Hope followed with his 2 pass pickoffs of Rose, who was descendant of Oregon's Norm Van Brocklin, the quarterback who was few days away and same city from helping to beat Green Bay Packers and deliver Philadelphia's Eagles' last world championship at the time. Hoke made fourth quarter runbacks of 24 yards to set up his 11-yard touchdown run and 13-yard return to put into play his 33-yard touchdown pass to halfback Dick Pay. Next, in the Blue Bonnet Bowl on December 17th, 1960, Alabama, number 9 team in the country, played Texas, and this matchup ended in a 3-3 tie. Now, during their careers, coaches Bear Bryant of Alabama and Darrell Royal of Texas met in 3 bowl games, with Bryant never achieving victory. This tie was closest he ever came, as Royal Steers rolled over Crimson Tide in 1964 Orange Bowl and 1972 Cotton Bowl. Crimson Tide quarterback Bobby Skelton was quite sure he scored early on from 3-yard line after his 49-yard again end pass to end Bill Rice carried to 7-yard line, but officials ruled that Skelton had not crossed goal line, and Longhorns defense stopped fullback Bobby Richardson mere inch short of goal line on the 4th down blast. But after scoreless first half, Bama end kicker Tommy Brooker and Texas Tech tackle kicker Dan Petty exchanged second half field goals. Petty's coming with 3:44 to go in the fourth quarter. Longhorns had game's last scoring chance as Crimson Tide halfback defensive back Leon Fuller was called for interfering with Bob Moses as time expired, but Petty missed 35-yard field goal try. In the Gator Bowl on December 31st, 1960, number 18, Florida, beat number 12, Baylor 13-12. Each team scored 2 touchdowns, as Baylor traveled 139 yards for its scores, while Florida required just 20 yards to earn its 13 points. So Bobble pitch out by Bears halfback Ronnie Bull was pounced upon by Gators defensive guard Chet Collins at 20-yard line early in the second quarter. So fullback Don Goodman scored on 5th play for 7-0 that lead. Florida defensive tackle Ronnie Slack made it 13-0 before halftime by falling on an end zone fumble by Baylor quarterback Ronnie Stanley. At the scoreless third quarter, Bears got going and converted 71-yard drive on fourth quarter first play when Bobby Ply, the quarterback, threw for 162 yards and 12 for 24, passing through 11-yard touchdown pass to halfback Ronnie Goodwin. That score made it 13-6, with Florida remaining in front. So when Bull scored with 1:01 to play, Ply tried 2-point pass, but normally reliable Goodwin, 7 catches, juggled and dropped his throw. In the Orange Bowl now, we're in 1961 now for January 2nd. Missouri, the number 5 team in the country, played against number 4 Navy as Missouri beat Navy 21-14. With President-elect John F. Kennedy looking on, Missouri was cruising to opening score when halfback Donnie Smith got foolishly creative. Trapped at Navy 3-yard line, he pitched back to quarterback Ron Taylor, but Middie's defensive end Greg Mather, trailing from backside of the play, sternly intervened to steal lateral pass, and he rumbled 96 yards for a reversal touchdown. I was sick when I saw that guy come out of nowhere, said Smith later. Mathers, Navy's fine kicker, was winded from his long sprint in Miami's heat and humidity, so he missed conversion. So when halfback, defensive back Norm Bill soon used defensive end Tommy Carpenter's crushing block to charge 800 yards with interception return, Tigers earned lead for good at 7-6, and Smith redeemed himself with second quarter touchdown run. So Missouri's mighty defense forced Navy to run a wash with -8 yards on ground, and star and Heisman Trophy winning Middie's halfback Joe Bellino was completely collared and could gain only 8 carries on 4 yards. Bellino, however, left lasting memory with brilliant over-shoulder diving corner of end zone catch for a 27-yard touchdown in late going. Next, number 2 Mississippi beat Rice 14-6 in the Sugar Bowl on January 2nd, 1961. Number 2 Ole Miss won its 5th bowl game in a row, but not before unranked Rice threw scare into Rebels. Quarterback Jake Gibbs launched 65-yard march with pass to halfback George Blair. After short opening kickoff created great field position, key runs on 7-play drive by fullback James Anderson for 13 yards and halfback Bob Crispino for 27-yard gain. 27 yards came before Gibbs went wide for 8-yard touchdown sprint. Drive was easy, so easy that perhaps Rebels went inside into cruise mode for a while. Rice would outgain the Rebels 281 yards to 186 yards. Moved into Ole Miss territory 4 times in middle quarters, only to be turned back at 31, 10, 18, 13-yard lines. Owls' efforts were thwarted by 2 interceptions, and on their last rush to 13-yard line, halfback kicker Max Webb's missed 30-yard field goal try. Mississippi gained scrimmage line with 8 or 9 defenders daring Rice to pass. So Billy Cox, the quarterback, hit passes of 8, 13, 30 yards to lead Owls to on fit and start 77-yard trip to halfback Butch Bloom's 1-yard touchdown run on the 4th down late in the third quarter. So kicker Webb missed kick to trail 7-6, and repeat Gibbs finally reinvigorated Rebels' offense and scored on 4th down at end of the 57-yard drive early in the 4th quarter. The result was less than a masterpiece for Rebels, but satisfying nonetheless. Next, about 2 top 10 teams in the Cotton Bowl on January 2nd, 1961. Number 10, Duke beat number 7, Arkansas 7-6. Duke, which had faded in late season, played superb defense while its offense slumbered. Blue Devils defensive end Dave Usher provided 2 key plays. He blocked vital extra point and forced the fumble to kill Hog's last hope. The matchup became a mighty defensive struggle for much of the afternoon. In third quarter, Arkansas halfback punter Lance Allworth, who was held to 33 yards rushing on 11 carries, took high punt snap and was forced to kick on run to avoid 4 tacklers. Allworth still matched 38-yard punt that beautifully stopped dead at the Duke 1-yard line. So on Blue Devils punter Randy Clark's first down punt out of end zone, Allworth used Les Singer's block to race 49 yards to touchdown and 6-0 lead. But Duke's usher block kicker Matt Mickey Sissel's conversion try in fourth quarter. Duke launched 73-yard drive, but defensive back Allworth had his hands on seemingly certain interception touchdown return on passing flat. So the Blue Devils All-American and T. Mormon somehow wrestled away the ball from Allworth and happily accepted a 3-yard loss. So it allowed Duke to maintain possession on its winning drive, on which Mormon made 6 catches. Quarterback Don Altman, who hit 8 for 9 on March, found Mormon alone in end zone for 9-yard touchdown with 2:45 left. Guard kicker Art Browning tacked on all-important extra point. On following kickoff, Usher slammed into Allworth, whose fumble was recovered by Duke fullback Jerry McGee, and victory was clinched for the Blue Devils as they marched to 1-yard line before clock expiration ended it. And finally, in the Rose Bowl, January 2nd, 1961, number 6 Washington beat number 1 Minnesota 17-7. Number 6 Washington beat number 1 Minnesota 17-7. So since AP held no post-bowl poll, Minnesota's huge Golden Gophers had already clinched the national title, to which Mississippi, Missouri, and Washington all could stake realistic post-bowl claims. Effective but underachieving, Washington was poised for its second straight surprise win in Pasadena. Biggest obstacle for Washington seemed to be how to deal with Gophers' massive nose guard Tom Brown, fierce and mobile man in middle of defense. Brown outweighed Husky center Roy McCassin by 40 pounds, so even though it was matchup of All-American linemen, Huskies devised a fake sweep play that allowed McCassin to trap Brown and send quarterback Bob Sled 68 yards rushing and 5 carries, quickly through line on long gaining sneaks. Huskies used this play to gain 52 yards and dominating first half as they outgained Minnesota by 158 yards to 61 yards before halftime. Washington halfback kicker George Fleming opened scoring with to date Rose Bowl record 44-yard field goal. Huskies made it 2-0 on a run fake past the right flat from Slorred to halfback Brent Wooten for 4-yard touchdown. It was set up by fullback Ray Jackson's 12-yard catch, 18-yard spurt through middle of line. Slorred's sneaks made possible another touchdown for 17-0. Huskies lead at halftime. Rascals at Cal Tech infiltrated Washington's halftime card stunts and spelled out Cal Tech to a movement of 97,314 spectators. Minnesota clearly controlled second half, allowed only single first down, and outgained foe by 192 yards to 35 yards. But Gophers could manage only halfback Bill Muncie's 18-yard touchdown sprint with option pitch out for quarterback Sandy Stevens 5:35 into third quarter. Minnesota took defensive end Bob Deegan, recovered fumble by Huskies sub quarterback Bob Heivner at Washington 37-yard line early in the third quarter to set up Muncie's score. Minnesota offered little aerial skill, and that failure kept them from cashing several chances. So in the fourth quarter, halfback defensive back Don Makita lined up at defensive end spot and threw Stevens for a 10-yard loss at Washington's 7-yard line, then made interception to halt the threat. So that concludes a look at the whole season, regular season and postseason of the 1960 college football season, regular season and postseason. Let's look at the performance formula. Number 1 was Mississippi. The top opponent's record for 1960 was Mississippi State at number 1 for the top opponent's record. Out of conference records, the best record was the Big Ten. They were 19-2-2 with an 0-1 record. Now let's look at the statistical leaders for the rushing yards for 1960. Bobby Gators, the New Mexico State, led the nation with 1,338 yards. Passing yards, Norm Snead, Wake Forest, had 1,676 yards. Receiving yards, Hugh Campbell for Washington State caught 66 passes, got 66 catches for 881 yards receiving. 881 yards receiving on 66 catches, and that's for Hugh Campbell of Washington State. So let's look at the 1960 consistent All-American team. At N, Mike Dicker, Pittsburgh; Danny LaRose, Missouri; tackle, Bob Lilly, Texas Christian; Ken Rice, Auburn; guard, Tom Brown, Minnesota; Joe Romaine, Colorado; the center, E.J. Halou, Texas Tech; for the backfield, Jake Gibbs, Mississippi; Joe Bellino, Navy; Ernie Davis, Syracuse; Bob Ferguson, Ohio State. Other All-American choices: at N.T. Mormon of Duke; Bill Miller of Miami; tackles, Merlin Olsen, Utah State; Jerry Beabaut, Purdue; the guards, Mark Manders, Iowa; Ben Baum, Yale; Myron Padios, Notre Dame; the centers, Roy McCassin, Washington; Wayne Harry, Arkansas; Jerry Smith, Michigan. In the backfield was Bill Kilmer, UCLA; Roman Gabriel, North Carolina State; Purvis Atkins, New Mexico State; Ed Dias, Auburn; John Hadle, Kansas; Larry Ferguson, Iowa. Next, the 1960 Heisman Trophy vote resulted in Joe Bellino, the senior halfback with Navy, winning the Heisman Trophy with 1,793 votes. That went to Joe Bellino, senior halfback of Navy. Tom Brown, senior guard, Minnesota, was second with 731 votes. Jake Gibbs, senior quarterback, Mississippi, 453 votes. Ed Dice, senior fullback, Auburn, 319 votes. And Billy Kilmer, senior tailback, UCLA, 280 votes. And other major awards that was won in 1960: Maxwell Player of the Year Award, Joe Bellino; Outland Lightman Trophy Award, Tom Brown; Walter Camp, back, Joe Bellino. Tom Brown won the Newt Rodney Lineman of the Year Award, and the AFC-A Coach of the Year Award went to Murray Warmath of Minnesota. Coach Murray Warmath of Minnesota won the AFC-A Coach of the Year. So that concludes a look at the 1960 college football season. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Tomorrow I'll be starting a new season talking about the 1961 college football season. You can like, subscribe to the channel, comment, do whatever you can to support the channel. This is Rashad Mitchell. Until then, talk to you tomorrow.